Hi, my name is Chanique, and today I'll be doing a chapter reading from Paper Love by Aubrey Wynne. It's from the Askew Ever After, a limited edition romance collection, and it's presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1. We must let go of the life we have planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for us. Joseph Gamble. April just closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and asked the Lord to send her just one more ounce of patience. Please, they were less than a mile from her house. 1 ounce would get her to the front door. I'm not asking you to fall in love. Just get out and mingle. Becky harped for the third time since leaving the grocery store. My brother moved back into town and is staying at my grandma's old house. He's hosting a monthly singles party to get reacquainted. There are university students and church members, so you might know a few people. It's the perfect way to get your feet wet. I prefer my feet dry, if you don't mind, Joss answered, trying to hide the smirk. I'm a firm believer in galoshes. You are an odd duck. Who in the world uses the word galoshes anymore? An awkward silence followed. I'm sorry, that was thoughtless of me. I was one of your mom's It was one of your mom's words, huh? It's okay. She's been gone almost a year. Just squeezed her friend's arm. Becky Montgomery had been her first friend when her family moved back to the US, and she meant well. I'm just saying, the biological clock is ticking away at 25. We're not getting any younger. Well, I dated Craig, and you know how that worked out. It's not my fault there aren't any eligible single men. Eligible being the key word. How would you know? You work, spend the weekends with your dad, and go to church with your family on Sundays. They aren't all like Craig, you know. Most men have morals. Trust me, I'm content for now. After mom, dating just isn't a priority for me at this point. I think my dad is having a tough time. Laura and I are focusing on him now. You were a rock for your sister. Laura's really pulled it together. I would have fallen apart too if I'd lost my mom in a car accident. You'd been here 9 months, barely used to a new country. Her friend gave a loud sigh. I wish I had that kind of strength. Do you still miss your old life? You don't talk about it much. Like a bird long for its nest. When we left Papua New Guinea, we made a pact to go back each summer and continue our work until Laura graduated. When Mom died last spring, we cancelled our plans. Now that summer is looming again, I think Dad feels guilty. I don't think he can face the trip without her. She glanced out the window as they turned into Evergreen Lane. Joss had attended the University of Goroka and received her teaching degree. Her sister, on the other hand, wanted to go into the medical field. The family had returned 2 years ago after Laura received a full scholarship to the prestigious Olivet Nazarene University. Missionaries weren't high on the salary scale, so a full ride to a highly regarded college, noted for its nursing department, had prompted several family conferences. In the end, the Palmatiers had decided the opportunity was valuable enough to move back home to the States, temporarily. The girls always laughed when their parents spoke of back home, since Papua New Guinea was the only home they could remember. To them, A Chicago suburb was much more foreign than a tropical rainforest. Then, last April, their lives had gone topsy-turvy. The unexpected ice storm, the phone call, the highway pileup. Their faith had brought them through the darkest days. Yet, Dan Palmatier couldn't seem to imagine the future they had planned without his soulmate. He presented a brave front, but both girls knew that June hung over him like a menacing storm cloud. "What about you and Laura? Will you both go back?" Joss smiled at the thought of her sister. "She'll be a one-woman Red Cross station when she graduates. Nothing will keep her from returning." The modern Clara Barton. Lowering her pitch, she said, "Bringing better medical care to the rural villages is my calling. I have to admit, my matchmaking efforts are a bit selfish. If you find someone here, you might stay." Becky chewed on her lip. "He'll sweep you off your feet and you'll never leave his side." Josh pushed the worrisome thoughts from her mind. "Ha! And with my luck, he would be heading for Alaska. I hate the cold. Beck, I'm confident the good Lord will send me my forever partner when he sees fit. In the meantime," she wagged a finger at Becky, "he has not hired you to do his work for him." Her friend let out a belly laugh. "That's funny. I love your sense of humor. I just wish you'd let me fix you up." They pulled into the driveway aside her neat white bungalow. The curtains in the upstairs window swayed gently. Laura must be home from class already. She stepped out of the car, gathering groceries and her purse. Becky rolled down the passenger window and gave a final yell. "Just think about it. You still need to get out of the house. It'll be fun." "I'm not a hermit," she called back, waving her shopping bags. A final honk and Becky was on her way. She pushed open the front door and garlic assailed her senses. Dad was making spaghetti, and the strong scent mixed with tomatoes, basil, and oregano made her mouth water. "Hello, is that you, Joss?" her father called from the kitchen. "Hi, Dad. I have the groceries and some Ben & Jerry's half-baked ice cream." She set the bags on the counter and looked around the bright yellow kitchen. "Did you finish writing your article?" "Just typed up the last period." "And what's the occasion for B&J?" He stood up from the table and closed his laptop. "Big plans for tonight?" "No, not really. Becky is harassing me to go to her brother's singles party again." "You need to go and mingle. It's Friday night, and you are a beautiful, intelligent 25-year-old who should be out making friends. Your mother would be horrified to know you sit home with me every weekend." He put an arm around her shoulder and gave her a squeeze. "Do it for me, huh?" "And for me, I'd love to meet a handsome man," Laura added, as she plopped down on a stool and picked at the grapes in the fruit bowl. "We'll go together. I heard Ben is a hottie." Joss sighed, looking at the two pair of hazel eyes staring her down. The last thing she needed was a hottie, but she had been itching to have a conversation with people her own age. First and second graders were limited in their level of humor and vocabulary. Still, the thought of a group of strangers was daunting. With a sigh only a martyr could appreciate, she gave in. "All right, we'll both go to the party, and if we find they have older people there, Dad is coming next time." "Woohoo!" Laura cheered, jumping up from the stool, her long blonde curls bouncing. "Call Becky and let her know, or I will." "Well, let's get super on so my girls can hit the town." Dan Palmetier lifted the lid on his famous homemade sauce. I'll be comatose after a second plate of pasta anyway. As she walked upstairs to her room, she heard them whispering, Dad, I'm worried about her. She needs a social life, some way to network and find friends. I'm at the university and meet people every day. Be patient. Her role for the last year was keeping this family together. She needs time to adjust to the fact that we don't. Joss didn't need to hear the rest as she closed her bedroom door and threw herself on the bed. Were they right? Had she been using her family to avoid starting a new life? Those first social events she'd attended had been a nightmare. A crowded room full of people. She'd never felt so isolated. They looked at her like an oddity, a foreigner. But wasn't she? The sadness, no, the pity in Laura's eyes had shown today. Her outgoing little sister had adjusted with ease. That's it. She slammed the pillow over her face. I swear I will go and have a good time tonight. Then she prayed for divine intervention.